Hi there. So today we're going to have a look at how to automate your blog posts on Webflow with Notion. So if you are using Notion to write your blog post and you want to post them onto Webflow automatically, then this is probably an automation that can be useful to you. First, we're going to have a quick overview of how this automation works. We're going to need a platform called make.com. It's not a super complicated automation, but at the same time, there's quite some details that go into it, which don't make it that straightforward. Unfortunately, Notion isn't the most easy platform to use in automations, but this automation works as it should. You can use images for your blog post, and whenever you choose that the document is ready to be posted, make.com will step into action and get the new document for you. Because of how Notion works, unfortunately, we have to rebuild the formatting of your Notion document. Once that's done, we're going to upload it to Webflow as a draft blog post. So let's start building. If you, for any reason, don't want to bother building this automation yourself, or you need something more custom or more suited for your specific situation, you can reach out to me. This automation will also be available for a free download, so be sure to check the link below the video. This is how the automation will look once it's finished. As you can see, it's not the most advanced automation, but like I said, there's quite some details into it which make it a little bit tricky to build. So let's jump right in. I created a new make.com scenario. The first module that we're going to enter is a Notion watch database items. This is a asset module, which means that it can trigger immediately when you create or update a new item in a database, which is what we need in this situation. I'm gonna set watch database items at updated time. You're gonna need to enter your database ID. To find your database ID, you need to open your database in a full window like this. So you're going to need the middle part of the URL, and that's the one you're going to need to paste inside make.com. So now, as soon as something is changing in your Notion database, Make will be triggered to start automating things. So I created this status update in Notion, and I will filter when an automation can start by setting it. So the next module that we need is an API call. So what we're going to need to do is simply paste in this URL that I'm going to show you right now and enter in your database item ID as well. The database item ID is the one we're going to get from the previous module. So just going to paste it in here. That's it. Don't forget to put a filter here. Otherwise, each time you change something in this Notion database, the make.com scenario will run. You only want it to run when you decide that your blog post is ready to be posted. So I'm gonna create a filter here, and for conditions, I'm gonna put the status name on ready. I think it's ready. Yes, ready. Okay, so inside this blog post, you can see I put in some basic text, and we're gonna try to get that into make.com. I'm also gonna add a image. So of course it blocked this specific run because the blog wasn't set to ready. Okay, so let's try this again. The next module that we need is an iterator. We're going to iterate through the body results array. This is an array. So before we go any further, I want to show you the Webflow module. We're going to create an item. First, you choose a website, blog posts. So these are basically all fields that we can enter in our Notion database. So the name we already have, author we can add, read time we actually need as well, read time, author, let's do a select. Then of course the post body, the image, the main image. You can actually use a file and media attachment property for this. I'm not gonna add all of this for now, but so now you know what are all the options. So the next thing we need to do is get all of this information into Webflow, obviously. But the problem is that how Notion gives us the text is not the most straightforward way. So it's giving us all the text in our blog post basically as a raw text. Here you can see our text. It's hidden really deep inside this array and in these collections. And here's the plain text, the main title in H1. Luckily, it gives us the type of text, so we can use this to rebuild our blog post inside make.com. So Notion is going to give us each line individually as a separate bundle. So as you can imagine, it's not the most efficient way to get your blog posts to Webflow, but it is a way that works. I wouldn't recommend it for really big or complicated blog posts with lots of images and lots of different types of text. But for simple blog posts with a few images and some bullet points, it works perfectly fine. So as you can see, it gives us all these different types of things that are in our blog posts, like the image, the bullet points. It's going to list up all of these different things. As you can see, now there's 9 bundles, 9 collections. If I put in an empty line here, it's actually also going to render that as an empty line. So be aware of that when you write your blog post. The next thing we need to do is get a compose a string module. So inside our make an API call module, we're going to have a results array, and inside that results array, we're going to have a type. What we need to do is basically add some HTML symbols to our text. And the way to do it is to first look at what kind of text we're getting from Notion, for example, a heading 1, and adding the H1 symbol to it. So once we put it on Webflow, Webflow knows what to do with it. And the way we do that is just with a bunch of if statements. So for example, if the type that we're getting from Notion is an H1, so a heading 1, actually it should be an equal sign. Then we're going to add this H1 to it, and the text will be inside this content module. So we're just going to paste it inside here. So we just have to repeat this for each individual type of content that we're getting from Notion. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so I added all of the if statements. So if we get a type that is called heading_2, we're going to add the H2 symbol to the heading 2 text. Same for the heading 3, same for the paragraph, same for bulleted list item. We're going to add the LE, and for an image, we're going to add the image source to the image file URL. So next up, we're going to add a aggregator file to combine all of this different text aggregator. It is also going to close off our iterator. And we're going to just enter the text here. And the next module will be our Webflow create an item. Actually, let me first run the automation that we have until now, choose where to start. So this is our output. Looks like we don't have the image. Let me see, text is empty. Okay, so we don't have bulleted lists, but we do have the paragraph, and we do have the H1 and the H2. So I made some mistake here. Forgot to put in a semicolon. Let's run it again. Looks like we do have our full blog post right now. So we have the H1, the H2, the H3 blocks, plain text, paragraphs, bulleted lists, and the image. Okay, so next up is the Webflow create a item module. I'm gonna select our website, blog posts, the name of the blog post we're gonna get from the first module. It's gonna be this plain text in the properties. Author, so for author, if we leave it like this, we cannot select any authors dynamically like this. So the way to solve this is select an author, for example me, and switch off the map button. Then we get a string of numbers. This string of numbers represents the author inside Webflow. So Webflow is expecting, for Jan Guess, it's expecting this string of numbers. So the only thing we need to do is switch the author name to this number. And the way to do that is by simply adding a switch module. So when the properties author name is author1, switch it to this number. What else? All right, let's map this image as well. That should be in here, but I didn't add an image yet. The read time and the category, same here. We can switch up the category name here with the switch module like I showed you here. And that's basically it. So let's give it a run. Let's tell it where to start. Choose all. Okay, read time invalid. Oh yeah, because it's empty probably. Actually, let's also add a file here just to be sure. That's again an error, probably because we mapped it not correctly. Let's have a look. Read time, content. Yeah, it should be this one. content, and URL is probably also wrong. Where is it? Files and media, file. Yeah, you're gonna have to use the actual URL here. So that should be it. Let's run it a third time. Now it's successful. So let's have a look inside our Webflow block. I'm gonna refresh, and here it is, my first Notion automation. Oh, nice. So we forgot to map the post body. Obviously, we should put the text aggregator inside the post body. Okay, one last time. Okay, let's refresh. And here's the second one. This time it's correct. So we have all of our texts, H1, H2, H3, plain text, the bullets, and the image. Okay, so this was it for today. I hope this was a useful tutorial for you. If you have any questions, leave them down on the comments below the video. If you have any specific requests for automations, you can always reach out to me on my website, automatic.io. This automation will be available as a free download. Just follow the link below the video, and I hope to see you in a next video.